Welcome to the Charlotte Buzz, where we drink beer from local breweries while telling stories about the neighborhoods they're from. I'm Chrissy, and this is Dru.
The NBA All-Star Game is in Charlotte today, so in honor of that, we wanted to bring you a bonus episode,
Boop.
and we will be drinking Buzzed City.
Hey, you. But first, a few housekeeping elephant in our rooms, if nothing else. One, if you did hop over to YouTube after our first episode, you will clearly find that video is not there. Like we said in the last podcast, this entire process is brand new to us, and I can't even begin to explain the technical difficulties we had with that video and our camera equipment. So we are putting that video up. It's just a much more straightforward, simplified video of really just one camera angle sitting here watching us at the desk. So the cinematography is quite bland overall. So apologies, but we're working on it and it will get better. However, in process, I also want to throw it out there that this is actually the second time we are filming this bonus episode because, again, as we are working out all of the kinks in this podcasting world, we keep finding new ways to really screw it up.
Yeah.
But I think we are on track now to get it all going well. But we just wanted to give you a heads up that where the goal for these podcasts is for whatever information or stories we're conveying that the other person is not aware of it yet, we do actually know everything we're talking about this time because we have unfortunately recorded this entire thing once already. So here's hoping this one works well and you guys actually get a chance to see this video.
That'd be nice. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think we're good enough yet to be doing it while we're drinking.
Do you really think that's the issue? I mean, the issues that we face, though, are ones from us setting it up wrongly before the beer even gets opened.
Maybe we're just thinking about the beer.
I mean, are you saying we're, like, causing drunkenness by thought? Is that a thing?
Placebos work, so maybe.
But it's not that we're like if I was drinking non-alcoholic beer, that's a placebo. But just thinking about beer, I don't know. Nonetheless, also this growler is definitely not full, but thankfully it's a full growler, not a crowler. So we do have some more in here, and hopefully that means less chance I'm going to spill it. But man, did y'all miss out on the footage we had of me overflowing his beer when we dumped this one into his cup yesterday, because that was special. But third time's the charm, and half-empty growler might be the charm as well for me. But go ahead, you tell us about the beer, and we'll see how this pouring job goes.
Yeah, so we are drinking Buzz City from Unknown Brewing. It is a collaboration with Bring Back the Buzz.
Ooh.
It's the Kent brothers.
Okay.
Who started this campaign to give Charlotte a voice
Check out
that
this
they
great
wanted.
pour.
To give Charlotte the voice that they wanted the Hornets back in town.
We'll talk more about those details of where it went and all that in a little bit.
Yeah. So it's a double dry hopped American red ale.
That noise is my concern for it being a red ale and not an IPA.
But solid pour job this time.
Empty growler for the win. Just trying really hard not to dump the growler upside down. It's kind of difficult because of angling my arm here underneath the microphone. But what else do you have to say about the beer? Or is that all?
That's it.
All right. Well, so like you said, Buzz City is from Unknown Brewing, which is in South End. And I'm a fan of Unknown. It is well, dang, he's just jumping right into the tasting.
It's your OG.
Yes. Unknown is the brewery that had the first beer that I decided I liked on my journey of attempting to like beer. So I'm a fan.
What was that?
The first one I liked was Over the Edge. Again, IPA land. My absolute all-time favorite is Gamble Everything, and it was a limited release, and they don't have it out. So, Unknown, if you want to bring that back, heroes. You'd be a hero.
Maybe we need to get the Kent brothers on it. They brought back the buzz.
Maybe.
Bring back the gamble.
I mean, I'm all for it. But something I do want to say about Unknown, now that we're kind of talking about this, is just pretty much what their entire culture and atmosphere is all about. It's just a really quirky, carefree, charismatic type of place. They're usually really involved with strange things around town, different funky festivals and strange brew competitions and like fun runs in your underwear and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I actually want to read this one part straight from their website. Pretty much the thing that made me so intrigued by Unknown Brewery from the beginning is just their entire premise of existing, I guess. So, again, straight from their website. The unknown is about a way of life. It's trying things that scare you. It's not knowing the future, but going after it anyway. It's about the adventure and all of those things that are on your bucket list. The unknown is your first kiss or your last time jumping out of an airplane. You only have one chance at this thing called life, so make it count. Try anything, question everything, no regrets, and most of all, live without boundaries. And I freaking love that. And
it's like long form YOLO.
Yes, but again, I'm the word nerd, so
yeah.
The richness and depth and imagery that brings out, ooh, I feel it in my soul and I love it. And that's kind of also what attracted me just to the name of Gamble Everything, because they have little descriptions on their cans too.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the whole thing, is like, take the big risk, gamble everything, just go for it. And so I really loved that. And then it was just a really awesome double hazy IPA deliciousness. So
it was pretty good.
Okay, so Drew already took a sip. Like I said, we have already filmed this, so I have tasted it. But I'm going to retaste it. You tell me what your thoughts were on this, Drew.
Well, it's in the it'll drink category. Fell solidly under there.
Well, all right.
I think it's light. It was a 4.2%.
Mm-hmm.
No, 4.8. 4.8%, so it's lighter than
we're used to, because I'm always making you drink the IPAs that are like 8.2.
Yeah, so it goes down pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm. For me, definitely not my favorite, but again, I'm an IPA snob. That's all I really like so far. And maybe it's because I am so fond of Unknown, but it's one that definitely, like, I can get through this whole glass. Because there was a time where even just smelling beer would make me feel sick. Let alone drinking a whole one. But I mean, by all means, I can get through this glass. I am happy to support my OG brewery. And I think eventually with more exposure to non-IPAs, I'll acquire the taste, but I'm just not fully there yet. But
yeah,
for people who like anything that is not an IPA, definitely a good choice.
Solid it'll drink.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That may have to be my rating system for everything that's not an IPA.
It'll drink it.
It'll drink or it won't, yeah.
Yeah.
Might be.
I mean, it's a good system.
Mm-hmm. And then the IPAs will just have their own. And I'm sure there will be some that fall in the it won't drink, but
yeah,
primarily.
We'll find out.
Yeah. All right, so like Drew said earlier, this is a special bonus episode, and so unlike the one episode deep that we've been, unlike that format, we are actually going to take a little detour, and instead of focusing on South End specifically with our stories, which obviously there's plenty of breweries in that area, so we will absolutely get to them in time. But instead of that, in honor of All-Star Weekend, we are going to focus on the history of the Hornets in Charlotte. So, I'm going to actually start, and I'm going to tell us all about the true origin of the Charlotte Hornets, the very first Hornets that we've had here. So, going way back in the day, in 1776, our great nation declared independence from Britain and all of their silly taxes and whatnot. But obviously, if you are even remotely familiar with Charlotte history, if you go even a year earlier than our nation declaring independence, we have the Mech Deck, where we wrote up 5 resolves that ultimately declared our independence from Britain a full year before the rest of the country did. And 5 years later, in 1780, Lord Cornwallis was leading the British Army to come and invade Charlotte. So, as he's making his way into town, we have William Richardson Davy and 150 other militiamen who set up camp in Uptown at Trade and Tryon, which, fun side fact, Uptown is actually called Uptown because Trade and Tryon are the northern or highest point of elevation in the city. And so instead of calling it downtown, we called it Uptown. And as our resident military expert here pointed out in our last attempt at filming this, that is actually just a really good defensive strategy from a military standpoint. So
get the high ground.
Yes. So we've got Davy and his 150 militiamen in Uptown ready to fight against Lord Cornwallis and the British Army who's trying to invade 5 years after Charlotte declared independence, 4 years after the rest of the colonies had. Davy's men in the militia were actually outnumbered 10-1 to the British Army, but they fought so valiantly and so feistily. Is that a word? I'm calling it a word. It's an attitude.
I don't know.
It's in our blood. I'm calling it our blood. I'm a Charlottean now. Somebody teach us how to say these words. So after only 16 days of hard-fought battle, Davy and his men managed to just totally undermine Cornwallis and the British Army. And Cornwallis packed it all in 16 days later and called the militia a veritable hornet's nest of rebellion. And thus, the true Charlotte Hornets were born in our town.
Word.
1780. Bam.
It's way back there.
Mm-hmm.
So, coming to the late 1800s, almost 1900.
Adding about 100 years.
Yeah, what would we say? Like
112?
100? Yeah, 112 years. And the first sports team to be named the Hornets began.
Okay.
Minor league baseball.
Like the Knights.
Yes, but the Hornets.
All right. Even better.
Yeah, so they played in various local leagues until 1937, and then they became an affiliate for the Washington Senators.
Okay.
Not sure where they played. I guess just local parks and in that area until 1940, and they had a 3,200 seat park built in the Dilworth area,
which is very near South End.
Yeah,
which is quite fitting.
Yeah, it
for
worked
our
out.
Buzzed City beer.
Didn't even know it, and it worked out.
I like it.
That's
something needed to have worked out at least.
So it's close to where modern day Olmsted Park is in the Dilworth area.
No idea where that is.
Yeah. Shout out to all my Olmsted Parkers.
Somebody tell us if you really exist.
So they played until 1972.
Okay.
1976, we had the Charlotte Orioles, which then became the Knights, and then went to Fort Mill, and then came back to Uptown, and now you have the Charlotte Knights in Uptown, where they have I can't remember how they worded it. The prettiest, it wasn't that, but the best ballpark in the minor leagues.
Best
in 2015
views for sure.
Yeah,
It's a
Gorgeous place.
great park. We've gone several times. So if you haven't been, definitely go check it out.
Yeah, go twice.
Multiple times.
Yeah, twice. At least twice.
It's great. It's so much fun.
You could probably pick up. Well, never mind.
If
you
you
can't
go,
get unknown beer there. I don't think.
I don't think you can either. But if you go on a day when it rains a lot and they rain delay it and don't actually games all start at 7:04 first pitch.
On the night games, yeah.
Yeah.
They do play at noon on Sunday, and during the week they play earlier.
Whatever. On night games they play at 7:04 is first pitch. But if you end up with a whole lot of rain delays and everybody leaves and then they play, you might end up getting called on field to do stupid dances to win prizes.
With the dude from that 70s show.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah, Donna's dad.
Yeah, that was a thing, guys. That was atrocious. Don't stalk my Twitter.
I watched from the stands.
He tried to film it. It was, don't stalk my Twitter.
Or do.
Okay, so so you said they
First sports team.
Disbanded at 72?
Yeah.
Or
it's pretty
ceased
unclear
to-
what happened from 72 to 76.
Okay.
76 is when the Charlotte Orioles started.
So 72 is when the Charlotte Hornets minor league baseball ceased to
Yes.
exist.
Yep.
Well, in 1973, the World Football League was founded in competition with our National Football League.
Mm-hmm.
This World Football League, or Wiffle, as it would become known for its ability to be a big swing and a miss. It was founded in 73, had its inaugural season in 1974. And so our next Charlotte Hornets team that we get is actually our first professional team in football. And the Charlotte Hornets actually started out in Boston and then moved to New York City and then moved to Charlotte. And they were actually the Stars before they became the Hornets, but you can't come to Charlotte and not be a Hornet for at least a minute.
Yeah.
So 1974, mid-season, the New York City Stars moved to Charlotte to become the Charlotte Hornets. And basically the reason they moved was because the owners were facing such financial struggles. One, the entire league was facing a lot of financial struggles because it was a new league trying to kind of compete with the NFL and where all of that was going. And so there was a lot of issues with getting players and back and forth, and it was just chaos. And so in 74, when they were trying to exist in New York City, they were renovating Yankee Stadium, which is where most of the sports teams were playing at that time. And so they were trying to fund a new stadium, and it just got really crazy really quickly. So they ended up moving down to Charlotte, and that financial difficulty didn't exactly go away. That chased them right down here. So I believe they were in town for 4 days, and their uniforms got impounded because of an unpaid laundromat bill that was hanging out in New York City.
Gotta pay them bills.
So they had to post bond to get their uniforms back, which is nuts. Like, they're holding your clothing hostage.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I get it, I guess, but that's nuts.
I'm assuming since they brought them over state lines, it was a felony, too. You know,
I mean,
that was serious business.
I mean, yeah.
That dry cleaning.
That's nuts. But they actually did, not necessarily financially well, but as a team,
Comparatively.
they did super well in our area ticket-wise. Let's do it that way. I don't know how you would deem that.
Yeah.
With a fan base, they did much better in Charlotte than they did in New York, in nearly 2 times better. In New York, in 7 games, they sold approximately 75,000 tickets. And in Charlotte, in 4 games, they sold 80,000 tickets. So we're just shy of 2 times as better ticket sales. And as a team, they actually did perform very well. They were actually winning most of their season, ended that season on a 4-game losing streak.
Par for the course.
Yeah, pretty standard. But ultimately, again, the financial struggle thing just would not leave them be. And so they made it into the playoffs because they were second team overall in their, I don't know if it was quite their division or if it was their like conference. I'm not quite sure what the whole breakdown of that league was yet, but they ended up being kind of in second place there, but were unable to proceed to the next round of games for financial difficulties to actually get there and participate. So they had to basically forfeit. And so everybody remembers them for that 4-game losing streak at the end and them not going. So they just assume they sucked.
Yeah.
But it was really just the financial struggles all day, which they also, nearing the end of that season, a judge ordered their equipment to be seized because of, again, they needed to pay some creditors up in New York City. And so like they just had nothing.
Looking back, a 4-game losing streak, I mean, it's kind of hard to win football games when you don't have any to practice with.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's totally fair. Who knows? I mean, yeah, who knows? But ultimately, that was just season 1 of this league. And then mid-1975, season 2, the Charlotte Hornets financially went under. And that was the last season of the World Football League entirely because the entire league was so plagued with debt and was unable to get enough investors involved to really build it up that the entire league went under. It only had 2 seasons, and ultimately its impact that it left was complete chaos on the NFL because there was the back-to-back winning seasons in Miami, and the Dolphins actually lost 3 of their key players to the World Football League during all of this. And so they had to make up for it. Everybody, refigured out all of their teams across the board. And then the Wiffle went under. And then all of those players were trying to reintegrate, but, contracts had already been handled and all that chaos. And so it just totally redesigned what the NFL looked like at that time. And really just kind of altered the course for several different franchises. But again, that's why the World Football League is just it's known as being the Wiffle because it was just such a huge swing and a miss at a sports league. But nonetheless, it did bring Charlotte our very first professional team.
And the important thing here is still no back-to-back winning seasons for a Charlotte football team.
Someday.
Okay.
I mean, I'm about to bring in so much hatred for saying this. Gosh, I didn't think I'd have to admit this soon. I am a Denver Broncos fan.
Boo.
I piggybacked on the Elway years. I was 9 years old. I didn't piggyback on the Manning years. So don't judge me. As a 9-year-old girl piggybacking on a team, I think it's fair that it's now been over 20 years and I'm still cheering for them through all of our suckage. However, Panthers are number 2 on my list. So aside from when we play you in the Super Bowl, I'm cheering for them. So
hope you do
I
well
am hoping for your back-to-back winning seasons.
Well, now
and it's always fun when we've got like CJ Anderson on the team for all of 5 minutes before we send him to another Super Bowl team.
Now you have an elite quarterback, though, Joe Flacco.
I can't even. We so hard to develop our entire offensive strategy on someone who's just about to quit the league. Oh, you're about to retire? Cool, come be our leader. But that's another issue. That's an entirely another issue. This is why Charlotte's my number 2. Tell me what happened.
I'm going to take you to 1988.
Hey, that's a good year.
Yeah, it's all right.
Hey, that's the year I was made. Well, the year I came into existence.
Well, November 4th of that year is when the Charlotte Hornets played their first basketball game.
So we've gone from military to baseball to football to basketball.
Yep. Now we're here.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
They played their first basketball during the 88-89 season.
Get it?
They were originally going to be called the Charlotte Spirit Fingers. I mean, Charlotte Spirit.
Oh, boy.
But a name...
The Spirit Fingers might have been better than the Spirit.
A Name the Team contest yielded Hornets as the winning choice.
well done to everybody who participated in that, because dear God, the Charlotte Spirits would have been. That's just a terrible legacy. Like, historical legacy is excellent of feistiness and rebellion and standing up for what you believe in. Why would you ever nullify that?
I don't know. I mean, if they were doing that, name the team in 2017, 2018, it'd have been Teamy McTeamface. So.
I think you would. I am surprised our business is not like creating McCreate Face.
Yeah.
Or this being named Podcast Podcast Face. I can't even say that. Potty McPodcast Face.
We missed out. We missed out. That's what it should have been named.
Goodness. Okay. Please, let's move on from this.
Took them 5 years to get to the playoffs, but they got there.
I mean, slow and steady.
Yeah. Had a couple big names come through the town.
Big names, small stature.
Well, yeah, Muggsy Bogues. But I was talking about, Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning.
Mm-hmm. See, this was my era of being really into basketball, so all of these names I'm actually very familiar with.
Glenn Rice, you know that one?
It sounds familiar, but no, not as readily as I knew the other two.
I was at a game against the Knicks, and Glenn Rice, I think we were down like 1 or 2, and Glenn Rice shot it off the side of the backboard, and it bounced out to the top of the key. Can't remember who shot it after that, but nailed the 3 to beat the Knicks.
Wow.
But
I've never been to a pro NBA game, and I'm dying to go.
Well, we'll have to go.
Yeah. Also, Charlotte Hornets, if you see this and want to send me to your game, I will gladly go. Just saying. Throwing it out there.
Well, early 2000s.
Okay.
We were not doing so well as fans going to the game. I think we were dead last in ticket sales.
Yikes.
So
these financial struggles just follow the Hornets.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. They up and moved to New Orleans.
And see, I'm really torn by that because I really want to boo hiss the fact that they up and moved. But personally, again, I'm just a really big fan of New Orleans and the culture there. And
you need to quit with your love for Denver, for New Orleans.
Listen,
well, the name
town
of the
that
podcast
I live in
isn't here, but it usually says the Charlotte Buzz.
Right. I love all those cities.
Not the Denver Buzz.
I love things about those cities, but where's the one that I moved?
Not the New Orleans Buzz.
Where's the one that I moved to and planted my new roots at and intend to stay in?
Yeah. So, fix yourself.
I done did. I moved to the correct side of the Mason-Dixon line.
I guess.
What else do you want from me? All right. So, boo hiss, moved to New Orleans.
Yep.
Which, yes, totally fair boo hiss.
Yeah. So they were the New Orleans Hornets
That just sounds so wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, like, give yourself a new name if you're going to move, because the Hornets, does not ring the same there.
Yeah, it didn't really work. But they kept it for a while. They hung on to it. 2004, Charlotte got a new team. The strike fear in the eyes Bobcats.
Rawr.
Yeah, terrible name. Some people liked it, I guess.
I mean, someone somewhere had to have. They tried to build a franchise on it.
I think it had something to do with the guy who started the team. His name? Bob.
Was he a builder?
Yeah, of the Bobcats.
Bob, the builder of Bobcats.
Yeah. Well, they weren't very good. Not doing well in ticket sales either. Went to a couple of those games myself. Always went, this kind of falls in your lines of pulling for other teams. I didn't pull for them, but I would go to the games if, say, Tracy McGrady was playing. So I saw Tracy and Yao Ming play. But yeah, never got excited about the Bobcats.
I mean, I feel like it just feels hard to get behind that.
Yeah.
Again, I wasn't living here then. I can't really.
It's like
But it just feels wrong and like hard to get behind.
It's like had a guy come to my high school and try to recruit people to his school, which was the North Carolina School of Science and Math. Sounds cool. Okay. I played sports. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a football team.
It's strange.
And their mascot was the unicorns.
Please tell me you're joking.
No, that's what it was.
I have so many questions and concerns about this thing. It was a school of math and science.
Yeah.
With a mascot that was the unicorns.
Yeah. I mean, couldn't get behind it.
How? I get the okay, unicorns, like, we're not a real sports team thing, so who cares? But also, like, how do math and science people take that seriously? Versus, like, okay, we're some weird creative, like, art school. I could maybe see it a little more.
I don't know. Terrible choice.
Yikes.
Just like the Bobcats.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, I guess there's one step in the right direction is that we were not the Charlotte Unicorns.
Yeah.
Although we do now call natives unicorns, so
yeah, well,
what's that to say?
So the team ended up selling to a ownership group. Michael Jordan was a part of that in 2010.
The GOAT.
He's slowly been building his ownership percentage, and he's a majority owner now. I guess the New Orleans Hornets got tired of having the Hornets name.
I mean, good, because
so
it's just wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah. I don't know if they used a team name contest or they should have, but they became the New Orleans Pelicans.
I mean,
fierce
talk
animal.
About striking fear into the hearts of your opponents. I mean, maybe they should have taken the Bobcats.
Maybe. Then they would have just been like, y'all just copying Charlotte, everything you do.
I mean, not a bad place to copy.
You can't redeem yourself.
I told you, I moved my roots here.
Yeah.
Happy camper here in Charlotte.
Well, glad to hear it.
I've been to Denver. I'm not quite a fan. I would still love to actually see a Broncos game, but I'll keep my tapping on the table. I'll keep my south of the Mason-Dixon, East Coast living life just the way it is. Thank you very much. And I like New Orleans just to go visit. That's all.
Yeah. All right. So once the New Orleans Pelicans were no longer the Hornets.
I mean, I can't even listen to it without laughing.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works as a mascot name. Okay.
I guess it does. I don't know. They can do it if they want.
I mean, they did. They do. So, yeah. Whatever.
So that's when, in 2014, the Hornets brought back the buzz to Charlotte.
Made us Buzz City.
Yeah, back to Buzz City again. That's where we're at now. So, Kemba Walker, most underrated point guard in the league.
So now we're just hoping to get some sort of winning season out of either a Charlotte Hornets team or a back-to-back winning season out of any Charlotte team.
The Hornets do have winning seasons.
Back-to-back?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's 82 games. They usually win more than half.
That's good.
So,
but
not you. I don't know about usually, but they do win more than half.
From time to time, they win some games.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, so that's the history of the Hornets. We have gone from 1780s militia to 1890s minor league baseball to 1970s major league football to present day basketball. So it's been quite a ride. They've definitely traversed some different opportunities in the local area. But yeah, I just really love the foundational implications of the Hornets being just, this really feisty, stand your ground, stand for what you believe in, rebellious group. And that's kind of the just sort of the nature of Charlotte as a whole and the culture that we're trying to move forward with. And I just think it's a really cool backstory to it. But so again, Unknown Brewery, Buzz City Beer. I am almost all the way through this one. I'm proud of myself.
Moving faster than I am.
I know. What are you doing? Unknown Brewery, Mint Street in Southend. Go check it out. They have a really cool atmosphere, a new-ish rooftop patio that has a really great...
In the roof patio.
I mean, yeah, it's really interestingly set up. It has a really awesome view. It's like 2-3 blocks from the Panther Stadium, so it's a really great view. Well, I mean, it's outside of the 277 loop, but it's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
And great views of the city. Really fun place to go hang out. And they've got a lot of cool events and stuff that they do there. So check out Unknown Brewery. Thanks to Unknown Brewery for making really awesome beer and helping me to like beer at all. And if you ever want to sponsor us someday, we would love that. This is not an ad, but we would love it if you ever wanted to sponsor us. Hope y'all are having an incredible All-Star weekend and enjoy watching the game tonight. And again, technical difficulties for days. The Matrix was down. It was just down. But
yeah, hopefully this will get on there in a timely manner.
The video, poorly managed, well, not poorly managed, the super bland first video because we couldn't, basically a handful of our cameras crapped out on us. So we've got just one camera angle and whatever. So we'll get all of that put up there and then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming on Thursday.
Yeah, so subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe on YouTube. You can comment over there on YouTube. Leave us a review on iTunes. All that good jazz. It all helps.
Teach us how to say people from Charlotte. Somebody teach us the proper way to say that word.
Yeah.
Need to figure it out, man.
I guess.
All right. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later.
Check you later.
Bye.